anytime you see this little box here, and you see these little numbers moving, and it'll say recording. I am now recording. So, hello. All right. Okay. So, one of the things that you did learn in previous grades, you did learn how to do numbers in word form, standard form, and it's expanded form. We're going to do that today. Now, the only difference is in 5th grade, we're going to make it just a smidge harder. And my homeroom is the only part that makes it really hard is there's one thing you have to do, you have to retrain your brain. And you're going to think like, no, I don't. Yes, you do, because there's one thing that everybody has a tendency to do wrong, and even grown-ups do it. And I'll say, I don't even do it, because I'm a math teacher. Of course I don't. So, I know people who do it wrong all the time. So, I'm going to do a basic number. How do you say this number? How do you say this number, Malachi? Huh? Well, how do you say it? That's word form. How do you say it? Okay. So, this is what we call standard form. Standard form is just like the regular way that you do numbers. So, I am not going to call you, I'm not like making fun or anything. If you said it the way that a lot of people say it, and you're going to have to stop saying it. Retraining your brain, starting right now today. So what you said, this is what I heard. 500 Okay, so do you guys agree that this is what you would, most of you would say if you saw this number, 543, right? I said most, not all. Most. Now, this is where you have to retrain your brain, because this is not really how you say this number. I love you dearly, but this is not how you say the number. Because this little guy right here, what is that? It's not a dot. It's a decimal. The decimal is the and. So when you say 500 and 543 to math people, this is what we see. I mean, I know you mean 543, but if you were writing it on a test, the decimal is and. $500.43. The decimal is and. So anytime on this problem set that you're going to get, when you see the word and, it means that there is a decimal. So you have to retrain your brain not to say 543, because it's not there. You can't say, we'll get to some other numbers because it won't work with what I have. I will have some people who will say and twice. 543 and 67. Hundreds. Are there two decimals in that number? No, then you can't say and twice. It's a hard habit to break. You're not going to see it on your work. You're not going going to see it on a text. You have to break that habit. So we're already going to have to take these things until we start working with it because you're playing. So this is what we're working on. One of the things that we're working on today, one other than retraining our brains, it'll take a while. So, and that's okay. It took me a while to stop saying it when I was a kid too, and maybe even when I got up here. So, here we go. So if I had our word form, if I had the 543, okay, 543. I know when you were in lower grades, you had to do expanded form. I know for a fact I taught it in second grade. Back in, the day when I taught second grade. They probably changed it. Second grade might not do that anymore. I don't know. Might be a third grade thing. Third grade did it too, I think. Fourth grade did it too. And you probably did what? 500 plus 40 plus 3. Well, we don't do expanded form like that. Now, we do, but we don't. It's not like we are changing expanded form. We're just doing expanded form 5.0, 5th grade style. This is where you're going to be like, oh, thank you, Miss Strickland. You're the best teacher in the whole world. Thank you for giving me this place value chart because it's going to make expanded form a million times easier. So I want you to, on your place value chart, to write, let me erase my circles, to write 5 in the hundreds place, 4 in the tens place, and 3 in the ones place. Just write 543 exactly where it goes. Did your marker work? Okay. 543. So, and to me, this is going to make doing place value super easy because it's right in front of your face. If it were my big brother, it would smack. Okay, you ready? So, it's like this, but stretched out. So, where is my 5?
In the hundreds place.
In the hundreds place. So, what we're doing is we're taking the 5, it's 5 copies of 100. So it's 500. Is it 5 times 100? 500. It's the same thing. It's just expanded form 5.0. But if you have it written in there, all you have to do is look up and say, where is my number? It's right there. So how would you write the 4? How would you write it? I mean, it's right there in your face. How would I write it? How would I write it?
You write it with 4 times 10.
4 times 10. So it's plus 4 times 10. Now, I write my stuff in parentheses because if it's not in the parentheses, it looks super cluttered to me. When you get your problem set, it is not going to be in parentheses, and you are going to be like, whoa, you're going to look like a cartoon character with eyes poking out like this. It looks harder. It's the same thing. All I do is I go back and I add parentheses. That's all you do. So how would you write the 3? 3 times 1 plus 3 times 1. So if you got this on your problem set, it would look like 5 times 100 plus 4 times 10 plus 3 times 1. I hate that. Because see how it looks all cluttered and messy? So all I do is I go back in with my pencil and I find the plus signs and I go parentheses, parentheses, parentheses. I need my stuff broken up. You may be fine with it all like that. My brain does not work that way. And I'll say like, my brain needs this. I'll just say, I need this. I know y'all are so surprised that I need things a certain way. I need parentheses. Otherwise it all kind of runs together. So I need things separated. So let's throw a decimal in there, shall we? Oh my gosh, it's going to be so much harder. Oh no. And not really. It's if you use your place value chart, it's not any different. So I'm going to leave my 543 because it's already up there. Let me do a 2 and a 5. So I'm going to teach you how to read decimals. It's really easy. If you use your place value chart, are you going to write it? Wait up. Okay. So, word form, again, is how you say the number. So when you're reading something that has a decimal, you read the number in front of the decimal, 543. You don't say 543, because then it sounds like 543 and 25. Does that sound right?
No.
You can't have two ands in a number. That's why you have to seriously retrain your brain. 543 and I'm gonna write this. And then I look behind the decimal. What's this number?
25.
25. So I'm going to add that. 25. And I have to kind of snake mine down a little bit because I'm adding this in there. 25. Now, I'm not finished because it doesn't make any sense. 543 and 25 makes no sense. Now, when you're saying decimals, the value of the decimal takes the name of the last digit. What is the last digit in that decimal? 5. Where is it? Where is it? In the, say it loud, say it proud. In the hundredths. So it's, because that's where it is. It's right here. It's in the hundredths. So it's 543 and 25 hundredths. If you use your place value chart, reading a decimal is easier. If you're looking at it and you're not sure, write it on your place value chart. And it'll tell you the value of the decimal. You write it exactly as your number's written. Find your decimal, write the numbers in there. Yes?
We use it during tests.
Any test, anything, homework, classwork, anything. EQT, anything. Because there's nothing, there are no clues of anything. It's just a chart.
It's just helping you figure it out.
Not even that. I mean, it's just giving you something to replace, like graph paper. Okay, so standard form. So then expanded form, I would just add on to this. Where is my 2? 2 copies of something. 2 times, look up. Not on your place value chart. You're like, what? Look on your place value chart. Plus 2 times what? 10. 10. That's not 10. 1/10. Because it's a decimal. It's a fraction. 1/10. So funny. Then I have, because it can't be 2 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. That doesn't tell me anything. So then I've got to do 5. 5 copies of what? Look on your place. Oh, your chart. Don't guess. 100. So I'm going to give you a number on the place value chart, and I want you on there to write expanded form. Just like this, I'm going to give you a number, and I want you to practice writing expanded form. So let's try, I'll keep it simple. 5 and 41 hundredths. So write that in expanded form. I got some people that it looks like they're just looking up here and weren't writing it on the place value chart. So I'm just going to say, if you don't want to use my strategy, that's on you. Or you are writing it, but you're not looking up. So it's 5 times 1. Oops, plus. And then the 4, I've got people writing down 4 times 10. Well, 10 is way over here. There's a 10 in there, but is that 10? No. This is 4 times 110. That's, 10. There's a difference between 10 cents and $10. This is $10. This is 10 cents. There's a difference. I'd rather have $10, but I've only got 10 cents or 40 cents. I'd rather have $40, but I've only got 40 cents. I've got 1 copy of 100. And some people were telling me 1 times 100. 100 is over here. There's a difference between a $100 bill and a penny. You have to make sure you write down the correct place value. Now, you really need to use the place value chart. This is a strategy that can really help you. So, I can't force you to use this strategy. I'm just trying to help you be successful. You could be horrible, awful at math, but this will really help you. It is easy, right? And even if you are horrible, awful at math, and you came here being horrible, awful at math in 4th grade, and you come in here going, I'm horrible, awful at math, was this hard?
No.
No. But if you did not do the strategy, guess what? It was hard, and you probably got it wrong. If you did what I told you to do, was it easy?
Yes.
Yes. So that's on you. I can't make you do it. I can highly suggest you do it. I can't make you do it. I'm not that kind of person. If you want to see my face again next year, that's on you. So, this is merely a strategy. You want to make it hard on you? Do it your way. Okay, so if I gave you a problem, you know what? I'm going to stop it. I'm trying to see if there was. So let me give you. Okay. So using the place value chart in order to do this, yes, you can do it. You might not believe me, but yes. So I'm going to show you how they got this from A. So it's already done for you. Now, your pencil should not be on the paper. You shouldn't be working anything unless you write your name on it. If that's what you were doing, okay, I'm not gonna be upset. Okay, but you can do that later because you're already not listening. Okay, so I want you to look. A, it says 4 thousandths. It has the THS. It does not say 4,000. It does not say 4,000. It has THS. You have to be very careful. You have to pay attention. Anthony, I'm not on the ceiling. I'm at the front of the room. Hi. Look up here. How you doing? So, I see THS is right there. That just says thousand without the TH. You have to pay attention. So 4 thousandths, where you're sticking out your tongue and spitting everywhere, right there, 4 thousandths. So that tells me the 4 is in the thousandths place. So I need to put the 4 in the thousandths place on my place value chart. Now what I am not allowed to do is have blank squares between the decimal and my digit. You see how I have these blanks? I can't have those. So I have to put zeros in there. You can't have blank squares between the decimal and your digit. If you're squeaking, you're writing too hard. I'm not fussing, I'm just letting you know if you're squeaking, you're pushing too hard. So that's how they got that. Do you have to put the 0 in the front? No. You'll see it, you don't have to write it. So the second one, 24 thousandths. So what I'm going to look at, I'm going to do a lot of underlining because that's just what I do to point things out. I know that I have to make the number 24. I know somewhere I have to make the number 24. I also know that the 4 is in the thousandths place. So you're having to pay attention to multiple things on there. So I have to make 24, but the 4 has to be where? Thousands. So it's not 24,000, it's thousandths, which means it's behind the decimal. So my 4 is in the thousandths, but I have to make it 24. Does that make sense? Are you bobbleheading or are you just like, no. 24 with the 4 in the thousandths place. Yeah? Okay. So what do I do here?
Put 0.
Put a 0. You can't have blanks. You got it, KJ? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to leave those other ones. I'm going to let you try to do them later. Down here, you have fractions. Oh my gosh, fractions. Where do you have fractions on your place value chart?
Where?
Behind the decimal. But on G and H, what are those? Mixed fractions. Thank you, Logan. Those are mixed fractions. Where do you think that whole number goes?
Before the decimal.
Before the decimal. 3 and 946 thousandths. 200 and 904 thousandths. When you say mixed fractions, don't you say and? 1 and 1/2? Yeah, you do. You say decimals when you say fractions. Fractions can be turned into decimals. Did you know that? Yep. Okay. So this is 2 down below, where you have to express each of the following values in words. I'm just going to do A. You with me? That eraser's not that cool. So I'm going to take this number. I'm going to put it on my place value chart exactly like it should be written. Exactly like it is written, I'm writing on my place value chart. So I have a decimal 0, 0, 5. I'm writing it exactly like it is there. I don't have to really put that there, but I did. So if you write it exactly like it's written, it'll help you with your word form, okay? So, where is it located? So I don't say 1,000. Well, you don't say you have to say 1,000. It's in the thousands. So how would you say that? 5,000. You just did word form successfully. What? So that's how you would write it. 5. Look at there. Word form. Go you. I know, right? That's why you have the place value. And you can even write that down. I just gave you the answer for 2A. Sure. You don't have to do that on your place value chart. I mean, your pencil on your paper. Well, I'm about to skip it. You better hurry. I'm going. Don't worry. Word form, word form, word form. And there it is. All right. So for 3, this 3A is on the bottom of yours, and B and C are on the back. So that's why you're like, I don't have all that. A is on the bottom, B and C are on the back. A is already done for you. B and C aren't. So this is where I was saying that it looked super duper cluttered. All they did was take a number and put it in expanded form. And they just left out the parentheses. So it's 3 times 10. Look up. 5 copies of 1. 8 copies of 110. 2 copies of 100. 7 copies of 1,000. That's all. It's just they didn't put the parentheses in there. I know. That's why I hate it. So all you need to do is take the number, write it exactly on your place value chart, exactly as it's shown. And then you can do expanded form. This is what we practiced just a little bit ago. So, do you have to write the 0? No. So what would be the first thing that you would write? 2 times 1/10 plus 4 times 100 plus 9 times 1,000. And if you use your place value chart, doesn't it make it a lot easier? You write your numbers, you look up. You don't even have to remember the decimal place. You just look up. Easy peasy. And I'm skipping over. Okay. 4, I'm going to do one more. And then I'm leaving you on your own.
Yay.
Well, I figured you want me to do at least one example of each one.
Yeah.
Because this is going from expanded form to number form. So this is where you need to be able to do, like you might want to put parentheses around stuff. So 7 copies of 10, 4 copies of 1, 6 copies. So you don't have to. This is just my thing. If you want to do it, awesome. If not, you don't have to. 6 copies of 1/10, 9 copies of 100, 2 copies of 1,000. Then you just plug it in your place value chart. So 7 goes in the tens place. 4 goes in the ones place. This is so easy. It's ridiculous. 6 goes in the tens place. And then it even lets you know, like, if there's a place value missing from there, then you just put a 0 in there because you can't have empty squares. 9 goes in the hundreds. 2 goes in the thousands. And there, it just gave you your number. What is it supposed to look like?
74 and 692.
74 and 692 thousandths. So then you just write the decimal. Boom. Oh, wow. And that's it. Easy. Oh, I just got 2. Okay. No. So 1 and 324 thousandths. So we have 324 that we have to make with 4 in the thousandths place. That's one thing I started doing with some of the people that I was working with them. I was circling the number that I had to make, and I was underlining the decimal placement. You don't have to do that. It's just a strategy. Just have you go, okay, this is the number I have to make. This is where it has to be. If you were able to figure it out, yay you. Okay, so I've got the 1 and. That's easy. 1 and. 324. I know that I have to make 324, and I have to put it somewhere. It has to look like that. The 4 has to be in the thousandths place. That's why I underlined it. 4 in the thousandths place. It has to look like 324. So a 2 in front of that and a 3 in front of that. If you end up with any empty squares, there has to be a 0 in there somewhere. Do you have questions? I saw it. Okay. 608 thousandths. That is not the same as what's on E. Those are 2 totally different numbers. So you have to make 608 with 8 in the thousandths. So you're going to have to make 608. It's going to have to look like that. With thousandths THS. It is not 608,000. Totally different number. That's not what you're doing. That's not it. So 608 in the thousandths place. 8 in the thousandths. 8 in the thousandths. 608 thousandths. It should look like that. If you got it wrong, make sure you fix it. If you got it wrong, it's no big deal. This is your first time doing it. Don't be like, oh, darn, I got it wrong. If you see why you got it wrong. I want you to be able to see and understand why you got it wrong. If you have no idea why you got it wrong, then we have a problem. Okay. 600 and 8,000. This is one of the things, oops, where I kept telling, it's fine. That's why I have a case on it. Okay. So this is why I'm telling you to stop saying and. because you're going to think that this is 608. That's not 608. That's 608. I need 608 thousandths. That's a totally different number. 600. 600. Oh. And means a decimal. You're having to retrain your brain. And if you're like, oh, I got it right. And you totally did. High five. Go, girl. 8 thousandths. That means 8 in the thousandths place. You cannot have empty squares. 0, 0. So 608 thousandths. It is not that either. That's 608,000. Totally different. So people started freaking out when they saw these. It's just a fraction representation of a decimal. Do you have fractions right here? They're right there on the top. Do 2. 46 thousandths. 46 thousandths. 46 thousandths. So that means 6 in the thousandths. 46, making 46 with the 6 in the thousandths. No empty squares. 0. 46 thousandths. Should look like that. 3 and. That 946, mine's really small. Yes. 3 and. 3 and 946 thousandths. Okay. Then finally 200 and 900. You guys sound like you sprung a leak. 904 thousandths. You know what's better? It's like just kind of go like that. It's way quieter. Thank you. And I'm not having to talk over a leaky type. All right. So with this, we did all you've got to do is write the number exactly like it is. Put the 5, look up. Where is it? 5 thousandths. So, you know, there were some people, and it surprised me. I remember saying, use the place value chart. If you do what I tell you to do, if you did what I told you to do, wasn't it easier?
Yes.
Yeah. If you didn't do what I told you to do, was it easy? No. And there was, I don't know what to do. I can't get it right. I don't understand. And I looked, and the place value chart was completely blank, covered up by a piece of paper, hadn't even been used. If you want to be hard-headed, you can do it on your own time. If I tell you to use the place value chart, use it. Use it. It made it easier, right? Right. Right. You know, I have no sympathy for you if you can't get it right and you're not doing what I told you to do. If I tell you to do something and you do it and you still can't get it right, awesome, we'll work on it. Not awesome, but we'll work on it. But if you're not even trying to do what I'm telling you to do, then we have a problem. And you stop playing with the eraser or the marker. Oh, it was the eraser that I told you not to play with. Great. So, take this, write it on the chart. 11 decimal 0 3 7. Then you should have written, and I'm going to run out of room because I write really big with this thing. 11 and so then I have behind here, I've made the number 37, so I need to write 37 And where's the 7?
Thousands.
Thousands. So that's what you write. Thousands. And there it goes. 11 and 37 thousandths is what you should have written. This one is a bigger one. 403,608. You cannot have written 403 and 608 thousandths. There are not 3 decimals in that number. There's only 1 decimal, and it's right there. You have to retrain your brain. 403. 403. That's how you say it. How you're supposed to say it. 403. I know it's going to be really hard for you to stop doing it. I know, I get it. I'm sorry. 403 and 608 thousandths. I just write really big. I'm writing on a smart board. It's big. I wouldn't write this big if it were my paper. And that's it's smaller because it's on dual screen. 403 and 608 thousandths. Okay.
Jag News will not be making these back. Okay, people. So y'all just want to be like the most. Okay? Okay? She sent a note later about when y'all are meeting.
So we already did the first one. We'll do this one. You were supposed to put it on your place value chart. So 5, 7, 2, 8, 1. So then you just take it and you look up. So not that was so funny. So 5 times 10 plus 7 times 1 plus what else?
2 times 1
2 times 1 tenth
plus
plus
8 times 100.
8 times 1 100. Thank you, Heather. What else?
Plus 1 times 1,000.
1,000. So, okay, so is that overly, ridiculously difficult?
No.
Well, some of the people who found it difficult were the people who were not using the place value chart and spent the time playing.
Without the parentheses, it looks like a big gobble of.
It does, and you'll find that on your homework, and you'll find that on tests made by Engage, that the parentheses are not there. So that's why I put them in. Cooperate.
Big pile of numbers.
Okay. My timer's going to go off in just a second. All right, so with this problem, again, with like B, I'm going to add my parentheses first, just because I need them. And it's really hard, but you know what? I might make this bigger just so that I can see what I'm doing and then shrink it back down. Okay. Squeeze that bad boy in there. There we go. Okay. Dual page. Okay. Oh, right there. Okay, so the one thing is like you might go, but Miss Strickland, there aren't decimals on our place value chart. What are you doing? Well, in my speeding of laminating these things, I did not put the decimals on the top like I did last year. So right here on the 1/10, if you write it, it's not going to say. But with the 1/10, that is this 1/100, it's 2 places, 1,000, it's that. So whenever you're writing expanded form, you can choose fraction form or decimal form. So I will, if I can remember, make an anchor chart to put up somewhere to remind you of that. So with 5 copies of 100, so I'm going to put 5 in the hundreds place. 3 copies of 10. 3 in the tens. 8 copies of 110. 8. Is that a 9? 9 copies of 1,000. So if I use the place value chart, this is easy. If I don't use the place value chart, I'm probably going to make it hard or got to get it wrong. I'm going to write the wrong number down. So I can't just go 5, 3, 8, 9, and go, oh, decimals. Am I going to get the right number? No. I do need to figure it out, but what is supposed to be in there?
Zero.
Zeros. There's supposed to be a 0 here, and there's supposed to be a 0 here. Because there's nothing, no copies of the ones and no copies of the hundreds. They didn't put them in there. They didn't put any in there. If they didn't do it, if they don't have it, they don't put it in expanded form. You don't have to write it when you're doing it. You can choose to, like 0 times 1 or whatever. They're not going to. So this is your number for B. If you got that far. So if you got that far, that's the number. So I am going to stop there because my timer should have actually gone off. I might have forgotten to change that one because we need to do some stuff.